Hello. Tony Ferguson was enrolled in athletics since childhood. From football, baseball, wrestling, going on to earn NCAA honors twice, even winning the NCAA National Championship. Tony, as it had appeared, had a natural aptitude for this world, competitive, driven, physically gifted. It was obvious. Tony was a born athlete, but his true gift was not his physical aptitude. I believe it was his father.
I used to watch my pops build stuff all the time, so it was actually a chance for me to become the master instead of the apprentice. It's a Gracie-style jiu-jitsu mat, hand-built, but not just by myself. I put a lot of work into it. Bag setup I actually made out of wood. Took it from my garage, and actually made it bigger to be a bag setup, so that was a little bit of fun.
I built my own camp. I built it safe so nobody's gonna get injured. People thought I was kind of crazy, and that's kind of weird, right? But I think it's genius because I'm taking my ingenuity and my creativity and not having to have somebody hold my hand to go and build this type of thing. I've learned how to do this from a long time ago, listening to my dad and really paying attention, being his apprentice for a long time.
Building his own gym by hand. Who does that? This is the kind of ethic and ingenuity his father gifted him. Thus, when we look at Tony's style, his drive, inhuman work ethic, it all makes sense. His unique style, creatively engineered as a composite from decades of athletic experience paired with breakdance. Tony took his physical self-awareness and with his character crafted a style the martial arts world has never seen before. Being disciplined to work hard is truly a gift. But when you can know yourself and have the courage to express yourself through that awareness and have the courage to work hard trusting that expression, you truly have something special. And the monster we see today, Cucuuy, is a living testament to just that. But who would have guessed such a man would have ever come into fruition? For before it all, like many of us, adult life comes into play. We find ourselves disregarding our passion, adhering to what the societal consensus demands of us. And we do our best to make our lives work. That's normal. But it's interesting. You never know how the chaos of this reality will pan out. Tony was working in sales and marketing, bartending by night, essentially working 2 jobs to make ends meet. I'm sure at this point, his mind was fixated on this path, but the calling in your heart always has a way of knocking on your door, wondering if you have the courage to give it a chance. Tony, on his bartending shift, was invited to help young mixed martial artists work on the wrestling. He could have said he was too busy. He could have said he was too tired. But at the pull of his heart, he jumped, and the journey of Cucuuy began. Dan Hardy has compared Tony to John Jones because they both flow through that creative arsenal executed through careful, cerebral study of their opponents. Diligent study outside the arena, loose, authentic expression of self in. He's breakdancing, feeling the rhythm, breaking his opponents through free flow. Tony doesn't have a fixed style because truly, he's strong everywhere, like water. He just fills the cup and leaves it at the moment's call. Who really knows what he's going to do next? Honestly, preparing for such a style must be an absolute nightmare. The constant stance switches, durability, weird, unorthodox movement, unorthodox techniques. He's just one of those guys you can't copy. He is just too authentic to be replicated. He said he wanted to be an OG, but it's fair to say he's already an original. Tony is an absolute alpha, confident, dominant in mental exchanges, composed, yet a high IQ problem solver all the same. He at times rubs people the wrong way because the man doesn't have a sense of ease to him. His intensity makes him appear forced, but that same intensity is perhaps one of his greatest strengths. It is the shadow of his work ethic. In the arena, his composure is legendary. He refuses to falter, show any glint of weakness, mentally always trying to find an edge whilst ensure he himself is composed. Let's glance at a few moments where these elements are truly highlighted. From here, Kevin Lee is in full mount. If you slow it down, you can see that almost none of these strikes connected. Tony in this position is being wailed on, but he sees the shots coming in and for the most part, rolls, blocks, deflects them, effectively wasting Kevin's energy. He even positions himself to slip this, and when the bell rings, notice how Tony is laughing, smiling, taunting Kevin from the ground up. And look at Kevin's reaction, he's pissed. If you think about what just happened, Kevin has a staph infection. He's heavily muscled and overall, you could tell, he was desperately trying to gain something from this dominant position, but really, even if it may have looked like he was winning, Kevin's gas tank took a hit whilst Tony indicates he's perfectly fine. This is the kind of mentality Tony has. Regardless of how desperate dangerous, dire the situation is. Having a monstrous athlete like Kevin wail on you from the top, Tony did not let the pressure get to him. He remained composed, focused on the moment, focused on what he has to do next. This perfectly highlights how mentally strong Tony is. This is beautiful. Sharing his Mexican roots in the arena, waving Kevin in like a bull, and on the rhythm of the third wave. It wasn't a wave, it was a time jab, and Kevin didn't see it at all. Kevin tries to counter against it with a lead hook, but it's blocked. And as Kevin tries to follow through with a cross, Tony steps to the outside and simultaneously fires his own lead hook. Truly something out of the Matrix. Here, Tony tries to provoke a gangster moment, telling Kevin let's stand and bang by pointing at the ground and laughing. And in the moment Kevin was caught thinking, he did not even see the jab come in from southpaw. This is what Tony is always doing as well, constantly changing his stances, making the distance and rhythm he'll strike from very difficult to gauge. You truly never know what his next move will be, and as Dan already has said, I don't think he does himself. He's just a lethal dance and flow. Here, Kevin does not have the same huge physical advantage over Tony. He's tired, staph infection, the elbows are getting to him. From this position, Tony controls the arm and gets his leg over it, secures the leg with his hand until he can lock it up, controlling the head so Kevin can't posture out of the position. At this point, it's tap or nap, and the fight ends. Nothing but respect for Kevin. He showed the world that he deserved to be there with Tony tonight. He mouthed his way into a high-level fight, and even if he lost, he was humble in defeat. At age 25, a man with not just that level of talent, but courage. This is not the best Kevin Lee we have seen. He will grow from this, and I hope he continues to aspire as high as his mind can imagine. I'm certain his hometown was proud of him that night. Tony, on the other hand, truly a monster in the mixed martial arts world, who showed us once again, even in a fight relatively awkward for him, the physical strength difference in not outreaching his opponent this time. Tony showed us he is good everywhere. Here's a philosophy I'd like to share. Having a high IQ is irrelevant in comparison to someone who has the ethic to work hard. But when you have both of these qualities, you've created a monster. Tony, a man who went from working 2 jobs to having an undefeated reign in the arena, highlights this all the same. To that end, thank you, Tony Cucuuy Ferguson, for this lesson. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to smash that like button if you did. It's good karma. And until next time, peace.